Cinema Sickness here with another weekly watch for you. And you may be thinking this weekly watch is a little bit off as far as, from the last weekly watch. Why is there so much time in between? That's because I've also watched all 9 of the Christopher R. Mim films from the Mimiverse. I've done a video on that. If you haven't seen that, it's a few videos back. Check it out. It's called, I think I titled it the Films of Christopher R. Mim. Check that one out. Talk about all his films in there. So I did watch all his films. This is the stuff I started watching before I watched his movies, and a few things I threw in along with watching his films. So that's why there's been such a long span in between the last weekly watch and this one. Not that many of you guys watch my weekly watch videos anyway. I don't know why I make these. But anyway, so let's get down to it. Take a look at the most recent 10 titles I've watched, with the exception of the Christopher R. Mim films. So the first one here, and I got it on a piece of paper towel because I don't actually have a physical copy of it. It's called Not Quite Hollywood. Not Quite Hollywood, the wild untold story of Ozploitation. Now, what this documentary is, and it's pretty cool. I downloaded this off of Vudu. I had some free Vudu points, what do you want to call it, credit on Vudu, and used it to download this, and it was pretty awesome. It's a documentary all about, as it says, Ozploitation, about these kind of crazy exploitation films done in Australia. Everything from, stuff you might think of like Mad Max, to like these like really like almost porn films, just very I don't know, skin flicks, I guess you would say. All kinds of different stuff. And it's really interesting because these films that are very, gritty and, again, full of nudity and violence and cursing and just really kind of, B-grade cheeseball films that are very dirty as well. They kind of got the Australian film industry even going. Like, there was really no Australian film industry. There was not much in the way of Australian films, and then these films started coming out and actually started making money, and people started seeing it all over the world. And even though they were not necessarily painting Australia in the best light, it's really interesting seeing that these films that are looked upon as being bad films, or looked upon as being a bit dirty and naughty, these films are what really got the Australian film industry going. I thought that was pretty interesting. So a really cool documentary. You're going to hear from a lot from Quentin Tarantino in this one. They're interviewing people in it throughout the film, and he has plenty to say. So very interesting documentary, very cool. I would definitely recommend it. Do not watch it at work though. I actually watched it at work on my computer at work. And probably shouldn't have done that. Had I been caught, would have gotten in some trouble, because when they talk about all the skin flicks, the early exploitation skin flicks, they show a lot of skin, so lots and lots and lots of nudity, full frontal nudity in this documentary. I thought maybe a little bit, but I'm not used to seeing that much full frontal in a and male full frontal too. I'm not used to seeing that much in a documentary. I was surprised. I didn't expect to see all that. And watching it at work was probably not the best idea, so not work safe. But still a great documentary. Definitely check it out. Very cool. You learn all about a whole bunch of fantastic, just early Australian films that are just amazing. So cheesy, so bad, but a lot of fun. Definitely worth checking out. Now, next thing I watched here, this I was really excited to check out. I watched this immediately as soon as I got it. I was sent this by one of my viewers and I had to check it out. And I watched it the same day that I unboxed it, and that is The Sleeper on this cool VHS DVD combo pack. Awesome. And what did I watch? The DVD? Of course not. I checked it out on VHS. Why would I watch the DVD? I mean, okay, if I want to watch it again, I'll watch the DVD next time. But if I'm going to watch this the first time, I'm going to watch the VHS. Even has a 50-cent charge if the tape is not rewound. Look at that. Love it. Love detail like that, although no label on the side. Found that kind of awkward. But this was a decent film. I say decent because I was not blown away by it. A lot of you guys mentioned when I unboxed this that a lot of you guys said you absolutely love this film. And I thought it was just, like I said, kind of mediocre. Reminded me a lot of films like Black Christmas, not Black Xmas, Black Christmas. Sorority, there's a killer. I felt a lot like I was watching Black Christmas when watching this, and it has that same feel. But what I did really enjoy about this film was just how much it looked like a 1980s film. They did a great job at doing that, more so than on some other films I've seen recently that try to, you know, make themselves look like they take place in the 80s and whatnot. This film did a perfect job, I thought. Fantastic. A lot of great detail put into this. Just really, really well done. Definitely felt like I was watching an 80s slasher film. If you handed this over to me and said, hey, I got this great 80s slasher film, check it out, and I didn't know what it was, I wouldn't have questioned it. I would have just assumed this was an 80s slasher. It was that well done. So I really liked that about it. But as far as the story goes, I thought the story was, like I said, okay. It wasn't anything amazing. Just, it felt like a, I would say, like a poor 80s slasher film. I mean, you got classic 80s slashers, then you got those like 80s slashers that are just, you know, kind of mediocre. I'd put this one in the mediocre category. It wasn't anything amazing in my opinion. Just definitely fits in that mediocre category. I even put movies like Black Christmas. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of you are probably gonna hate me for that, but even Black Christmas, I kind of put in the mediocre like slasher horror genre. It's just, you know, it's good, but it's not amazing in my opinion. And same thing with The Sleeper. I just thought it was pretty decent. So I did enjoy it though. Definitely worth checking out if you like 80s slashers. Check it out. Really cool to see you know, a modern movie done in the 80s slashers, with the 80s slashers feel. Watching on VHS is really cool. It made it feel even more like I was watching a true 80s slasher film. I loved watching on VHS. It was great. I will watch it again on DVD sometime down the line. Maybe even this Halloween season, just because I'm curious what it looks like on DVD, because it looked amazing on VHS. I'm curious if it holds up the same on DVD as far as that 80s look to it. You get just a sorority guy killing people off. You have a cop who's, you know, trying to help out and figure out who's doing it. My main downfall of this, and it doesn't really matter, it doesn't take anything away from the film. One of the things I didn't like was the fact that we see the killer's face, and it doesn't matter because the killer's not really it's not a mystery as to who he is. We're from the very beginning, we know it's just some crazy dude killing people off. I mean, they hint for like a second that it's one of the girl's boyfriends, but very quickly that's debunked. That's not the case. We know that within like the very beginning of the film. Okay, he's not the bad guy. It's not like we're led to think he is. No, for like 2 seconds we're led to think he is, and then immediately it's not the case. So seeing the killer's face isn't really bad. Doesn't take anything away. Doesn't ruin the film. But something about it just bugged me. I guess I'm used to seeing all these films over the years where you don't see the killer's face. It's always, you know, they always show from the back, or he's like lit from the back and you can't see his face, or he's shot from like the neck down or something. You just don't see his face. And something, I mean, a faceless killer. You know what I mean? That's what I'm used to. When you see his face, that's kind of just like, oh, that's okay. That's what he looks like. It just, something about it kind of took me out of the film. I really wish they wouldn't have shown his face. I mean, at the very end, sure, show what he looks like, but throughout the film, it just kind of bugged me. For some reason, it really took me away from the character, and I didn't really care about the killer so much because I saw his face, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Something about it just, I don't think they should have done that. Even though it doesn't matter, even though it's not like you see the killer's face, you're like, oh, the movie's just ruined. I know who the killer is now. No, you never know who the killer is. He's just some crazy dude. Again, it kind of bugged me. So, yeah. But all in all, again, I'm not trying to bash this film. The Sleeper was a good film. It is one I would recommend checking out. Again, if you love 80s slasher films, see this. It's a great watch. Definitely one worth seeing. And I love having this VHS DVD combo. If you get the chance to check it out on VHS, do. Oh, boy. Then I watched... a lot of you guys question why I was watching this when I mentioned on CinemaSickness.com. I was watching this movie. I got a lot of why comments, and that is Lady in the Water. And I guess you guys by now should know why I watched this. And right there alone is why I wanted to check this out. Paul Giamatti, I mean, come on. And Paul Giamatti was great in this film. I thought he was fantastic. And really, the only reason probably why I sat through this and really, I don't say enjoyed it, but didn't hate it, I will say, is probably because of Paul Giamatti. I'm a big fan. Anything Paul Giamatti's in, I pretty much love to an extent. And okay, he's been some stinkers, but this one kind of included. But I didn't despise this film. It's not the worst film I've ever seen. I mean, I can name hundreds of movies I've seen worse than Lady in the Water. Now, is Lady in the Water good, though? No. The main problem with this is the story is just, like, it's a what the fuck story. I mean, I'm watching this going, what? Like, why is this happening? Like, what? This is the story? Huh? It's very M. Night like that, in the sense that the whole time you're just kind of like, why? What? Why is this happening? Like just such a weird story. And weird stories are fine. I've seen many movies with weird stories, but sometimes it's just to the point where you're like, this is just too weird. This is just way out there and crazy, and I just kind of don't care why this stuff's going on. and it's just bizarre. That's the best way to put this. Just a really weird, bizarre story, but it's not told well enough that I care about this bizarre, weird story. And just, yeah, I wasn't blown away by this one. It was kind of a stinker. I see why people dislike this movie. Again, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen worse movies than this, but it wasn't good. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, just a very much a WTF kind of story, and that's the way this one goes. So, yeah, not very good. But Paul Giamatti was great, and I really liked Paul Giamatti in this movie. So would I recommend it? No, certainly not. But if you're a Paul Giamatti fan, maybe then check it out. Or if you're like me, another reason why I would check this one out is because it's an M. Night movie. And I had this weird curation, this weird fantasy with M. Night where I'm like, you know, his movies really suck. I tend to really hate his movies. I did like, you know, Sixth Sense was great. I liked Unbreakable as well. And, you know, I even like Last Airbender. I know a lot of people didn't like that movie. I thought it was okay. Yeah, but all the rest of his stuff are kind of just garbage. But I have this weird fascination where it's like, if his name's on a movie, it's like, I kind of want to see it. I want to see how much of a train wreck this film really is. I'm just morbidly fascinated with M. Night films. So maybe if you're really in the M. Night movies, check it out. I probably already have already. But yeah, I'm not going to really recommend this one unless you're a big Paul Giamatti fan. If you're a huge fan of him, he does a great job in this movie, so maybe worth seeing for him alone, but the story is just garbage and just really bizarre and not in a good way. So yeah, Lady in the Water, don't check it out. Then a movie I was given for free. I was given this movie for free. I saw this at, I was given it for free at the Blob Fest. I was talking to this guy, looking at some stuff. He had some cool VHS tapes. He had the Blob Jam. And he says, here, take this. And he hands me this movie, absolutely free. Just says, check it out, give it a review. And I kind of feel bad because I'm going to bash this one a little bit. And that is Bath Salt Zombies. Cool name, cool premise. Just not done all that well, in my opinion. I was really intrigued by this. I'm thinking Bath Salt Zombies, this has got to be really cool. It's a bunch of people who probably take bath salts and then just go ape shit and just a cool zombie movie. Not really. I mean, it was there, but not exactly. It's this drug chemist who creates this really potent bath salts, and it basically gets you hooked immediately and really gets you messed up. And when this guy takes it, yeah, he does turn into a bit of a zombie, or it's killing all people, and it's kind of interesting in a way, but I almost kind of wish he would have just maybe this my opinion. Okay, here's how I would have done this film. You make this crazy potent batch of bath salts. It starts getting around. People start taking it and turning into zombies. Cool. Now you got this whole crazy mess of zombies going around and killing people. Maybe some people survive or something. I don't know. Crazy. Interesting. There's not much you need to do to make it just a fun zombie film. But unfortunately, you know, he keeps coming out of his high and he's not always a zombie, which, you know, it's all right, I guess. But it just kind of bugs me, and he's addicted to this drug. So every time he takes a drug, and he turns into a zombie. You know, kind of cool. But then there's this whole story about this DEA officer who wants to find the drug chemist and the drug dealer, and it's just, that's kind of weird. Although cool ending, I gotta say, I did enjoy the ending of this one. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. If you want to see this movie, check it out. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but I really like what happens to the DEA officer at the end. It was pretty cool. I got a chuckle of that. I mean, it did make me smile. So at least this movie left me with a smile. But all in all, I just thought it was very mediocre. I just really didn't enjoy it all that much. It just kind of was a meh sort of film. It's one of those things I'm like, well, I've seen it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I just thought very mediocre. Will I watch this one again? I don't know. This is one of those films that's like, if a friend comes over and they say, I really want to see this movie, I'd watch it again, but just on my own, will I check it out again? I don't really know. Maybe years down the line, but not anytime soon. Cool soundtrack though. A lot of good bands in it, but all in all, just mediocre, and a really weird nude scene too. I mean, there's this like nude scene in this movie. Again, if you watch it, if you want to watch it, there's this nude scene that's just really kind of just like out there. I'm just watching it like, what? Like, this is really long, and it's getting kind of graphic. Like, where's this nude scene going? It just seemed really bizarre. So yeah, I'm not really gonna recommend this one. It had potential. I just think it kind of fell flat on all the potential it had. I mean, it's a good premise, a good idea. I would love to see somebody do a really good bath salt zombie movie, but this one really didn't do it. And there's a sequel to this one coming out soon, so we'll see. I'll have to pick that up and check it out. I don't know, maybe it'll be better, but all in all, I would just say mediocre, not something you really need to see unless you're really intrigued. And then I checked out, of course, The Blob. Saw that in the theater. Saw it alongside the Christopher R. Mim movie, The Giant Spider. And I see the Blob at least once a year because I always see it at Blob Fest. And it's the Blob. It's absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen the original Blob, although I see if you've never seen the original Blob, but if you've never seen the 80s Blob, see that one too. The 80s Blob is actually one of the very few. I mean, there's not a lot of really well done remakes out there. The 80s Blob is fantastic. It's actually a remake worth seeing. But the original, in my opinion, is the superior film. It's amazing. It's fantastic. One of the best sci-fi movies ever out there. And the fact that it was shot all in like my hometown and a couple towns over. And it's actually a really interesting story. I mean, the Blob was done by a film company in the area, the Valley Forge Film Company or something like that. I forget their name, but they're a film company who is they're like 20 minutes. Well, they were 20 minutes away. Their main studio was 20 minutes away. And they shot this film in this whole area. It takes place in downtown Pennsylvania, and it was all shot in this entire area. It's really, really cool and really interesting to have a film as well known as the Blob shot all right here. I mean, it's not like certain scenes were shot here and they shot the rest back in Hollywood. No, it's all shot right here by a little independent film company and became this huge hit. And it's an amazing film. So if you've never seen the Blob and you love classic like 1950s sci-fi movies, if you love 1950s sci-fi movies, how could you not have seen the Blob? But for some weird reason you haven't, see it. Even if you're not a big fan of 1950s sci-fi movies, I don't care. See the Blob. It's fantastic. Steve McQueen's great. Fantastic movie. Brilliant. I absolutely love it. And I watch it, like I said, every year. I see it at the Blob Fest along with some other movie. It was very cool to watch it with The Giant Spider this year. So check out the Blob if you haven't seen it. Then I finished up Everybody Loves Raymond with the 9th season. And very short season. I forget how many episodes is this. It was only 16 episodes, which I guess isn't crazy short for a season. But for an Everybody Loves Raymond season, it was a bit short. And again, I see why this show was coming to an end. It's a great series, and it started off really strong. But I would say within the last 3 seasons, it just kind of got a little blah in a way. It got old. It was stale. It was the same stuff over and over again. Oh, this wacky family, and they're just being crazy. I get it, and they tried to throw in new characters with Ray's brother getting married, and then his in-laws and stuff like that were characters now on the show, and it just, you could see they were trying. You could see you could see even the writers were like, this is getting stale. Where are we going with this? And you could tell when they were bringing characters back and then throwing in new characters, and they were just trying to keep things fresh, and it wasn't. So Everybody Loves Raymond is a great series. I would highly recommend it. It's extremely funny, especially if you have a family, if you have children. It's definitely worth checking out. You're gonna get a kick out of it as somebody who's married, as somebody who has a kid. I love it. I found it extremely, extremely funny. It's just, like I said, as it goes on, at least like the last 3 seasons, it does start to get a bit stale. It's still very funny. It's still going to give you a ton of laughs. It's not like you're going to not be laughing for the last few seasons. You are. It's just that it's going to get to the point where you're almost going to be like, and I did this a lot, where I went, haven't I seen this episode before? I felt like I was watching episodes I had already seen, because it's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's just this wacky, zany family who's getting into just crazy situations, and again, it just, certain episodes felt like episodes I had seen already in last season. So it is what it is. But Everybody Loves Raymond is still a great series. I would highly recommend it. If you like sitcoms, check it out. Check all 9 seasons out. They're all worth seeing. Even if it does get a bit stale, you're still going to get some laughs. It is worth checking out. And then I saw Back to the Future, which I could hold up. I do have a copy. But I saw this in the theaters. Went to the Save the Clock Tower event they were having in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Saw Back to the Future for free, and I say free because they were asking for donations. You didn't have to make donations, but I'm not going to be a dick. I gave them $10 to see their clock towers. So pretty cool. I went to see Back to the Future, and that's the thing. I'm not going to go pay like $10 or more to go see a movie in the theater once. But if it's for a good cause, if I'm doing something nice, I'm saying this clock tower for this church. It's this big clock tower in the middle of town. Needs to be repaired and completely, like, basically rehauled. It's in pretty bad shape. They were talking about before the film, and it needs to be completely redone. That's fine. I will gladly give $10 to see a movie that I could watch at home. I have it on multiple formats. I have it on DVD, VHS, Laserdisc, Blu-ray. I mean, I have it on all kinds of formats. I could certainly sit at home and watch it, but I'll give you $10 to go see it in the theater if if it's for a good cause, not just giving money to some theater, giving it to Hollywood. Definitely, I will do that. So gladly pay the $10, and it was really cool. It was a great watch to see Back to the Future on on the big screen. It's really cool. I'd only ever seen Back to the Future 3 on the big screen. Saw it when I was a little kid. So Back to the Future 3 in the theaters when I was a little kid, but I've never seen 1 and 2 in the theaters, so I gotta see 2 in the theaters yet. But it was really cool to watch it on the big screen. It was great. A little concerned though watching it. It was like the first 5 minutes of the film. Everything was smushed. You know, it's a widescreen film, but they smushed it to a full screen frame, and I'm like, are we really gonna watch the entire movie like this? I was kind of bummed that I was actually a little upset. I'm seeing Back to the Future on the big screen. Do I really get to watch it like all smushed like this? I hate it. It's like when you go over to a friend's house and they have a nice new widescreen TV and they have things like either smushed in or stretched out. The aspect ratio is way off. It drives me insane. And luckily, we watched about 5 minutes of the film, and they turned the film off. Lady came out, lights came on. She said, "I'm sorry, bear with us for 1 sec. We need to fix something." And of course, the crowd's like, "What's going on?" Then within like 2 seconds, lights went off, picture came back up, and the frame was fixed. So they fixed the aspect ratio. Thank God. So really cool again to watch it on the big screen. Really enjoyed doing that. It's Back to the Future. If you haven't seen Back to the Future, crawl out from underneath your rock and see the movie, because it's one of the greatest movies ever made. The Back to the Future trilogy is one of the great. It's one of the great. It is one of the. It's definitely in like the top 10 greatest trilogies ever. Back to the Future trilogy is amazing, and the first movie is fantastic. See it again. Crawl from underneath that rock and check it out if you have not. One of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. It's absolutely fantastic. So really cool to watch it on the big screen. And then I checked out some more Nat Geo with Is It Real? Da Vinci's Code. Pretty cool. Definitely enjoy this because, so many people out there think the Da Vinci Code is like a real thing, and it's not. The book's all... it's based on like little bits of history and whatnot, but it's mostly just BS, and a lot of it's made up. But really cool documentary looking into it and telling you what's, it was cool because it told you the things that were real, the things that actually were based on true history, and the things that are completely BS. And it was very interesting to find that. And he even talked about, what if there was, this Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ bloodline. It talks about all that stuff, and it's really interesting to hear kind of like a what if, and what if the Da Vinci Code was real, and it talks about Leonardo da Vinci, and I found it really. I never knew that. I never knew what Da Vinci meant. It meant from what Vinci or whatever it is. That's where he's from. His name's just Leonardo. He doesn't have a surname. I found that really amusing. I didn't know that. I always thought Da Vinci was his last name. No, not the case. His name is just Leonardo. Flat. Done. No surname. So interesting. But yeah, so good watch. Definitely worth checking out. I love learning about the things in Da Vinci Code that were real and the things in the Da Vinci Code that are complete BS. Very interesting. Definitely a well done documentary. It wasn't out to just completely debunk everything and just slander the book. It wasn't like that. It was like, well, what if some of the things in this book were real, and here's the things that are, and here's the things that aren't, and it took a good look into the book. So very cool. Definitely recommend this documentary. And then a movie that I liked but was kind of disappointed with at the same time, and that is Now You See Me. The story was pretty interesting about these magicians and how they're stealing all this money and stuff, and this crazy cool twist ending and whatnot. Interesting movie. My main downfall with this one is CGI. CGI killed this film for me. I would have loved to have seen, and again, I'm not saying that CGI couldn't have been used. It could have, because I'm not saying that all the actors in this movie need to learn, these amazing magic tricks. No. But I would have loved to have seen them at least performing magic tricks that are possible. They're doing things that they're doing CGI magic tricks where it's stuff that I'm like, that's not believable. That can't be done. I don't believe that. I want to watch it and go. I know it sounds stupid, but it took me away when I'm watching these magicians, these actors playing magicians do these tricks that are obviously CGI tricks and don't even begin to look like something that's actually possible and could be done because it's CGI. I mean, if they did a better job, like making it look realistic, I don't know if I would have believed it, but it's a bunch of CGI stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't believe these people are really doing this. I'm being taken out of the movie because I want to believe that these magicians are really doing these cool illusions when it's CGI, and I can't believe it. I'm watching it and go, I don't believe a single thing you're doing. And so it really took me out. I gotta say, the CGI really hurt this film, in my opinion. It took me away from the film. I just couldn't get into it as much as I wanted to because I just felt that these magicians were BS magicians. I felt that these actors were actors, not magicians. I wanted to, I gotta be into the movie. I gotta think, okay, these actors, they really are these people. They're the people I'm watching, not the actors. That's what you do when you watch a film. You don't watch a film thinking, oh, I'm watching this actor. You think I'm watching this person. And again, it took me out of it because of the horrible CGI tricks and illusions. It was stupid. They shouldn't have done it. I don't know why. They could have easily done cool tricks and stuff like that and made it look realistic, even if it was, fake and perhaps even CGI. They could have made it look at least realistic and could have made it seem like I was actually watching a trick that somebody would actually be doing. So that was the only downfall, really, in my opinion. The story was pretty cool, very entertaining. I loved watching the the FBI going after these people, and then of course the twist ending, which, yeah, the twist ending, you kind of see it coming a bit, and also it wasn't anything mind-blowing in my opinion. I didn't watch the twist ending and go, whoa, I didn't see that coming, or oh my god, that's amazing. I kind of watched twist ending and went, okay. So yeah, I mean, it was the twist ending was all right. It was pretty cool, I guess, in of itself, but it just wasn't. I didn't think it was anything mind blowing. The twist ending was just okay. Yeah, I don't know. So best way to describe this movie, I would just say mediocre. I would say worth a watch though. It is worth seeing. I'm not saying this movie is bad. You shouldn't check it out. No, you should see this movie. I'm just saying it's nothing you're going to want to come back to over and over and over again. So worth a watch, definitely, but something you necessarily need to own, not necessarily. If you're, into me, if you're a junkie when it comes to buying movies, sure, pick it up. But otherwise, if you want to see this movie and you don't need to own it, just at least give it a rent. So worth a see, but nothing you gotta own or anything like that. Or nothing you even gotta see. So yeah, kind of mediocre. Could have been better, but still was a decent story. And then the last title here I checked out. I wanted to make this a really quick review, but it's like a half hour now. It's always the same with these weekly watch videos. So the last thing I checked out was Rio 2, and just like Rio 1, it was all right. Best way to describe it. I thought Rio 1 was just okay. The first Rio was just okay. It was a decent CGI animated film. Had some funny moments in it. Had beautiful animation. An okay story. Worth seeing, yes. If you're a fan of CGI animated movies, Rio is definitely worth checking out. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either. It's not one of the group. It's not like a CGI animated movie that I'm going to put up on a pedestal. No, but it is worth checking out. And I'd say the same thing with Rio 2. It's just an okay, mediocre follow-up. I mean, I guess it holds up, but with that being said, it's holding up to a mediocre film. So it's a mediocre film being held up to another mediocre movie. So would I recommend checking it out? If you've seen the first one and you like the first one, you'll probably enjoy the second one. It's nothing great, but it is worth checking out. CGI animation was absolutely beautiful in it. Decent storyline, and I don't really have too much to say about this one. I basically, again, just say if you like the first Rio and you saw it, and you're interested in seeing a sequel to it, sure, check it out. Otherwise, you don't need to see this. If you're just an average CGI animation fan, it's nothing you need to see. It was just okay. So there you go, guys. That is it. That is all the films. Again, with the exception of the Christopher R. Mim titles, which again, watch that video a couple of videos back, that I've checked out over the past, well, I guess like 2 weeks now. So anyway, guys, that's it. So like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. If not already subbed, please do. And if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head on over there, check it out. A lot more to see there than just these videos. All kinds of things, updated information that's going on, like what I'm doing, deals that are taking place, all kinds of updated information. Definitely check that out. And if you like my videos, of course, while you're there, check out the videos from Team Sickness. A lot of great stuff from them. And you can also click on that merchandise tab and purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker and or a Cinema Sickness button. They are dirt cheap, and I would certainly appreciate the support. And you can certainly find links to all my social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. It's all there at cinemasickness.com. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.